Mega Dads Live is a mature-rated podcast. It's for the Mega Dads, the Mega Moms, but not the Mega Kids. So put on those earmuffs and let's go!
I haven't seen Adam this messed up in like a while.
This is gonna be a good day.
Oh my God.
Welcome everyone to the Mega Dads Live Thanksgiving special. This is normally your monthly check-in to the place of where gamer life meets real life, but today we have a very special bonus episode for you to listen to while your family argues amongst themselves over room temperature gravy. My name is Adam Leonard, and I am your host, coming to you from the elegant dining hall here at Megadad's headquarters, located in the heart of our nation's capital, Champlin, Minnesota. I am joined, of course, always by my personal assistant manning the switchboard, Mabel. Mabel, how are you this fine Thanksgiving? Yeah. Okay, relax.
Jesus.
Mabel.
Mabel's a freak. Mabel's a freak.
Fucking spicy. My goodness.
Like any wonderful Thanksgiving feast, we have a cast of misfits. Mabel is coming in. Mabel has downed 3 bottles of, not the wine, but tequila.
Oh.
She's just drinking straight up tequila. Mabel is half under the table right now. No, Mabel. No. Put the knife down. Put the knife down.
Mabel.
My God, you'll get it. You'll get a turn.
A woman after my own heart. Good job, Mabel.
Mabel's enjoying the holiday. We hope you guys are enjoying your Thanksgiving. We thought that we'd do something special. We did this a couple of years ago, the Megadad's Thanksgiving special, where we get a big round table and discuss one of the big topics. Last time we did this, we actually talked about, it was right after the new consoles released. So we talked about our first impressions of the PS5 and the Xbox Series. But this year, we thought we would do something where we'd kind of touch base with what we were thinking as far as the overall temperature for games in 2022 and what maybe some of the hot games were, game of the year contenders might be. And really, when you're having Thanksgiving dinner, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about Black Friday deals, right? You're thinking about what you're going to spend your money on. And there are a shit ton of great deals for video games. So we want to give you some recommendations, some of the games that we think are hot and worth your time this year, some of the things that we've been playing. I can't do this alone. I certainly can't do this with me and Mabel because Mabel is currently laying on the floor in a puddle of her own urine. So, joining me first on the panel today is Chris Berto. Chris, how you doing today?
I mean, I'm doing pretty good. I stepped in a little bit of Mabel's vomit on the way up here.
You gotta be careful. Don't slip.
I know. Well, I went in for like a holiday hug. And I squeezed too hard and it just, so whatever.
Squirted right out of her.
Oh my God.
We spent all this money on this dining room. We built this headquarters this year. We've got fine offices, fine bathrooms, and we built this elegant
you have
hall.
a nice bathroom. I'm in the closet still.
Right. You still have to piss in the bucket in the broom closet. But this dining hall, it's like, picture, if you will, 1989 Batman. The table that is excessively long and you've got to use a bullhorn to get the person to pass the salt on the other end. That's what this dining hall is like. It is just elegant and regal. And there is Mabel dry heaving on the floor in an absolute lake of her own urine. And we're trying to conduct a professional podcast.
No shit. She's reckless, honestly. And, I've had it up to here with her shit, honestly, and I don't know if she's gonna.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Go to sleep. Go to sleep, Mabel. Go to sleep.
You're done. You're done. Pass the bottle. Just take it away from her. Why you let her keep it?
Also joining me on this panel is Antonio, the hypecaster himself. How's it going, Tony?
This is the best time of the year. You're spending time with your friends, your chosen family. It's a regular old Friendsgiving here, and I am super excited to be here with you all and all of our listeners. I hate spending time with the family, the extended family even. Oh my god.
Oh God, your mother-in-law pisses me
Hate.
off. Oh.
Hey, it's just too much. You much rather be spending your time, like you said,
with your mutuals,
thinking about games, chilling with your friends. So I am super excited to be here. Mabel smells something awful, so I'm gonna try.
It's terrible.
I'm gonna try to block it out.
Well, she shit herself. She shit herself.
Oh my god.
She got into the potato salad like 4 days ago. Like we had professional chefs come in and prepare this feast ahead of time, and she has just been knee deep in this potato salad. She's eaten nothing but potato salad for the last 4 days.
Okay, I'm getting
so
potato salad and vodka or a tequila. That'll do it.
I'm legitimately getting
bad
sick.
combination.
just you describing the potato salad.
The word curdling, you've never.
We've said the word squirt and curdling already. We're like 2-3 minutes.
Evan is here from Megadeth's
Evan!
Mr. Squirt
We're
Curdle
crossing wires today. Evan, how's it going?
Well, when you invited me on the show, people may not know this, but I haven't been feeling great about the quality of Checkpoint lately. And you're like,
oh, no.
Feel better now, don't you?
Come on to MDL, and you will feel like you'll feel like Joe Rogan without the steroids, and you were right, Adam. You were 100% right. So thank you.
Can I tell you, as the only person who does both shows regularly, Checkpoint and MDL. Well, now
you're the double dipper.
Yep.
I am the double dipper. I'm taking it from both ends.
Wasn't
I can't tell
wasn't
you.
I enough for you, Berto? Was I not man enough for you?
Oh my god.
I am a thirsty individual. Let me tell you something. I love MDL. I love Checkpoint. Checkpoint is by far, the more professional of the two podcasts in this establishment, and that's saying something because I'm on that show as well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I need to step in and
so hats off to you, Evan, and welcome to the Nut
absolutely,
House.
Evan. I'm gonna tell people things I'm thankful for throughout this episode, and I am thankful for you, and I guess for Berto doing Checkpoint. It is amazing. I have fun listening to it all the time. You do an excellent job, and I am thankful for you, Berto.
It's really a tale of two cities. When you listen to like the flagship Megadads podcast, you have like this really professional, eloquent podcast bringing in guests and like having these nuanced conversations, and then we have curdling potato salad and
wait, I'm the flagship. Is that what you're saying?
Other way around.
I'm sorry to break this to you. I'm sorry to break this to you.
I've put on some weight lately, but I wouldn't necessarily call myself a whole ship. That's not. Is that a dad joke? Did I just do a dad joke accidentally? That was not my intention.
A little bit.
Who made this stuffing? It tastes funny.
Oh,
that's not stuffing.
That's
not.
That's not. I'm pretty sure the potato salad, when it comes out, it's just kind of like spongy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I'm gonna eat anything else at this table.
That's not brown gravy.
Thanksgiving, games, friends.
So wait, hold on. I wanna. We'll get there. You did something at the top, and I want to do you did a thankful thing.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
Which was not scripted.
No.
So fuck you for upstarting the rest of us. But I want to do it. I'm thankful
Go
as
ahead,
well.
Berto.
Yeah,
And
let's do it.
Yours.
There's no rules.
Yeah.
What you're thankful for.
There's no rules, especially
thankful for.
not here. Not you. And not to inflate his ego on the show, but Mr. Adam Leonard himself. For those who don't know, and if you listen to the show, you do know, I was gone for like a year, like a whole last year. And I didn't know if I was going to make it back. I didn't know if I was going to have time to do Mega Dads. The new career is slowly sapping the life out of me. Sorry, Carrie, if you're listening. But he's not. Don't worry. But I didn't know if I was gonna. I didn't know if I was gonna come back. I didn't know. And a lot has happened in the last year, and I didn't know if I wanted to come back, if I'd be able to. And I was welcomed back with open arms,
And legs.
and legs. Well, yeah, and
It was
legs.
just a full-on straddling.
It was just spread eagle, top to bottom, and I appreciate it. You didn't have to, and then you offered me, maybe not your first choice, but you offered me a full-time spot here on MDL, and that is, as a longtime fan before I joined the team, and then all that stuff. MDL has always been my favorite monthly podcast produced by middle-aged adult men. Favorite in that genre, and so
It's a surprisingly wide genre, I have to admit.
It's a deep list. So to be invited on the show in a full time,
it's very much the representative of the stereotypical podcaster. Yeah, there's a few of us.
Middle-aged white guys don't get a lot of play in the podcast.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Finally, it's our time.
It is truly an honor to have been invited on as the third chair. So Adam, and I guess Antonio for accepting it. Thank you to you both.
I wasn't consulted, but that was
I didn't mention it to him at all.
that was beautiful. That was beautiful. I'm so thankful that you're thankful for Adam.
The inside baseball here, I don't consult Antonio
No,
when making.
I don't know
decisions.
shit.
Like,
I don't know what's going on. Mabel just showed up one day. That was it.
Here. I'm gonna tell the backstory on
no.
this, right? Berto may get a little offended by this. So Berto comes back. He's like, I want to be part of Megadad's again. Let's do it. Let's get back into Megadad's. I'm like, oh, this fucking guy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Come on back. I'll throw you a bone right here. And he's like, I can be on Megadad's Live. And I'm like, and then we go like a month or two, and he's like, Adam, in case you need me, I'm here for you for Megadad's Live. I'm like, all joking aside, when we did our episode last month with Nick, you, me, and Nick.
What a fucking piece of shit he is.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
You fucking blew me away. That episode was so much goddamn fun that any hesitation that I had to put you in the chair was completely blown away. Completely washed away. And after I got done recording that, I said to myself two things. One, Nick is a piece of shit. And two,
as we all do.
And two, Berto killed that audition. So I'm very happy to have you on this show. And as I'm sure Evan is happy to have you on Checkpoint, because you're a great foil. You're a great second chair.
I'm a good co-host. I can't host with a shit, but
you're a lot of fun to bounce.
I've only had to
bounce
apologize
words
for
off
him
of.
like twice, so that's good for me.
This is
Keeps
way
the
more
emails down.
positive than the typical Thanksgiving experience.
we just got started. Hold your fucking
I'm just
horses,
saying, like,
all right?
at like my family shit, like by now somebody's just like crying under the table, like, get out of here! I wish you'd never been born, like that type of shit. So
Well,
this is great. I
the
love
thing-
the love and
Why is my mother at your
I
dinner
love the
table?
love and camaraderie here. We're all thankful for each other. MDL's been on a tear right now. Checkpoint's been on a tear right now.
The thing with holidays is, like, as you get older and as you bring more and more people into your lives, holidays become such a give and take of things that you love and things that you hate,
Mhm.
right? Like, there's so much responsibility. There's so much dedication and work and putting yourself forward that it can be exhausting.
Yes.
And so I thought with this podcast, we could create something that folks can listen to after dinner as they are loosening their belts for one reason or another,
Oh my god.
and to just really enjoy a
All
conversation
huddled around,
with
the giant radio, like
the giant old
like a Roosevelt fireside chat.
And we can talk about, silly little things like video games. And let's just get right into it. All right. Like, I've created a short list of some of the games that I really wanted to talk about, as did the rest of you guys. There have been a lot of games. I feel like I've played more games this year than ever before. It's just such a great damn time for games. I know that Berto has been playing a lot of the same stuff that I have. So I kind of left the heavy hitters for his list. But one game that I want to talk about and kind of throw out there first, for games that I think were exceptional this year, is Moss Book 2 for VR. Has anybody played this game other than myself this year? Anybody a VR player on the panel?
I have a Oculus Rift, and the top-down perspective games are by far, to me, more engaging than like even the first person stuff. There's something magical about looking down and around things, and playing it in that perspective it's excellent. It's absolutely excellent. And I've played other RTS games and this game called Demio, which is coming to the PSVR 2. And it's like it's a
Yes.
D&D where you're looking down at the dungeon and moving your characters around, and there's real effects like fire and acid and smoke, and you're looking down at it, and you can zoom in all the way or out or whatever you need to do. And Moss, every time you talk about it, I remember the first time I heard you talk about Moss, I've been very excited to get into it, and I haven't yet, and I regret it. And for this to be on your end of the year list, it just puts it over the edge to me. I have to play this. Now, is this coming to PSVR 2 as far as we know? No, right?
So
I don't think it is, as far as I've heard.
So there's like this weird nebulousness right now with PSVR, where it's like the PSVR 2 is not backwards compatible with the original PSVR.
Damn shame.
Some games are going to be getting free upgrades. Some games are going to be getting paid upgrades. This is the type of game that I think would be a shoe-in. There's nothing that is programmed specifically to the original PSVR structure. So like if you think like a game like Astrobot was very much built around the DualSense 4 controller. It is very well integrated into it with a touchpad. It's specifically designed around that older infrastructure. Moss is available on PC VR as well. So there's nothing baked into it that is specific to PSVR 1. So I can see this getting an upgrade, but I don't have that confirmed. But this is very much like you said. This is the kind of game where it takes a very familiar classic video game platform structure, but it puts it in the VR space where you are not only the camera, but you are overseeing the world and interacting with the world in interesting ways. The character is controlled with your typical controller, like your DualSense controller, and you, with the VR headset on, are a secondary player that is overlooking the world and interacting with the world. And it does the same kind of thing that Astrobot does, where it takes a very familiar formula. Everybody's played a 3D platformer game before, but with that extra level of immersion by putting you in that world as the camera, it just is so interactive and it's so immersive. And seeing these characters run around on these little miniature dioramas, the fact that they're little woodland creatures, they're little animals, just makes it that much more believable that you're looking down on them as they're running through these medieval castles and villages and stuff. It just really makes you identify with the characters and relate to the characters. And when they get injured or when they get scared or when they overpower a foe, like you're watching it like it's a passive experience, but you're actually controlling it and influencing it. And this game blew me away. I liked the first Moss, Book 1. Book 2 is an absolute triumph, and I think it should be on any VR players must play for 2022.
Is it all puzzles as far as going through the game, like adventure and like getting to the next area, or is there combat? Because I haven't watched enough gameplay.
There's plenty of combat.
Okay, so you have like a sword and Because I know like the character has
The character has a multitude of weapons,
Nice.
from swords to hammers to boomerangs, and you can level up their weapons. You, as the overseer of the world, you have influence in the combat as well. You can use your controller to subdue enemies, and then use the control stick to bring the character over and battle them. So it kind of twists your brain. There's a lot of puzzle elements to the combat, but it's very much like a medieval 3D platformer brawler. There's
Wow.
lots of puzzle elements, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of combat too, and a really great story as well.
Is this a game where some games they're in VR and the perspective is such that it's really advantageous and needs to be in VR for the game to work? Is this a game where it could be pulled out of a VR space and put onto the PS5, PS4, whatever, and be as effective or impactful, if not from a input, right, with the controller, whatever, but on a gamepad? Would it have that same sense of, I don't know, wonderment or even just impact? If one of the things that gets me in video games a lot of times is the story that a game is trying to tell, if it is in fact trying to tell a story, or whatever the case is, unless it's just like an action type of whatever. So is this a game that would translate well to a non VR space, or this is really a game that, for what it is, needs to be in that VR?
I think this game has to be VR, in the sense that the story that they're telling, you as the VR entity in the world, is a scripted character. So the character of Quill, who's the little mouse character, she sees you overlooking the world, and you are an actual participant and a character in that world. And the VR enables you to enter that world, and you are an active participant in it in a way that I don't think a static camera view would quite do justice. So like in the VR, you can look into, like, if there's a pool of water, you can look down and see your own character in there. You are an active participant in this game. I think the VR is really the only way that it can go.
It's interesting. What do you think about the fact that this game is at the top of your game of the year type list, but a lot of games are getting fanfare because they're on Game Pass and the barrier to entry is like basically zero, and all these games are being tried out and getting eyes on and things that may have been overlooked? And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have VR that has such a barrier to entry. You need the hardware.
Yeah.
You need a PlayStation fan type lifestyle and money to play, and it's just a shame, right? Because it's obviously a great experience, but what are the chances,
I think that's the frustration that a lot of VR players have in general. And it's so hard to communicate what makes it special until you experience it.
Mhm.
I can very clearly remember my first experience with VR, and I knew what VR was, and like technically I knew what was going to happen when I put that headset on. But when you put that headset on, it's just you can't even, nothing can prepare you for that feeling of being in the video game. And so I think, like, as somebody who is a convert, who believes in the technology, like, this game is like, God, I want so many people to play it. But you're right, there's a barrier there. It's just,
there's a
that's
huge
the fact.
barrier. I have a VR set. It's not mine, but I have access to the Quest 2. $299 all in, done. Don't need a console to play it. I love the VR games on there, but you know what? To my knowledge, there isn't a Moss, right? There isn't Astrobot. There isn't Horizon Call of the Wild or whatever it is. Those games aren't going to be on the Quest 2, and I understand there's a level of production value and there's a level of quality that is going to be expected on like the PSVR 2. And if it was $500 or $550 all in, I'd be on it. But it's not. You can't just say, I want a PSVR 2. Let's say I don't have a PlayStation. And yes, the PSVR 2 is for the dedicated PlayStation fan base who likely does already have a PS4, PS5, whatever. Let's say you're not. Let's say you're someone who's more casual but likes VR. I love the Quest. Maybe I just want to play VR games. the $1,000+ all in, and the library for what's there, especially with it not being backwards compatible, especially with it not being, I can take this huge, not huge, but pretty extensive PSVR library. I can't necessarily take that forward unless there's in place upgrades, paid or otherwise. I understand the why. I get that the technology is different, that there are advancements that make it not. I understand why it's not backwards compatible, but that is barrier to entry. As a PlayStation fan myself, I'm a huge PlayStation fan. I can't, maybe at a price drop at some point, but I don't know. What about Evan? Are you a VR guy at all? Do you do any of the Quest, anything like that?
So I'm gonna give Adam an early Christmas present here, because I'm gonna talk about my broken brain. And so
every
I've
episode
tried on
your brain is broken.
It's really true. It's really true.
Every episode.
I've tried several times to get into VR, and so what happens when I get into VR, or when I put the headset on, is my brain says this is the reality now. And when something happens that I think should happen but doesn't, because I'm not wearing the Lawnmower Man suit, it takes me out of it.
Underrated.
So
movie.
like
Keep going.
if I'm playing a VR game and I'm like, I've been shot or something, if I don't feel that in my chest, then it
Do you
it
want
throws me
to?
off. If
Did you just say
all I
you
can
wanted to
see is
feel
video
a
games-
shot into your chest?
yes.
You live in the wrong state. Go
What
to
I'm
Detroit.
saying is-
Go
what
to
I'm-
Detroit and play
You need to
VR.
hang out with some of my friends.
What I'm
I'll
saying is
hook you up.
VR isn't immersive enough for me yet. It's not there
Sure.
to the point where I can take my I can if I'm sitting down in front of a TV, I know where I am, I know what is happening. But when I can only see video game, my brain says this is where we are, this is the world we are in, and yet half my body doesn't work. It does. I feel paralyzed. I really
So,
do. And even
for
controllers,
you-
like I want to be able to reach over and pick up stuff with my fingers. I don't want to have to hold something to do something. It's not
Yeah.
immersive enough for
That
me
makes
yet.
sense.
So
I'll
I
be
just can't
honest
get
with you.
into it.
If you play the right games now with the finger tracking, you can do like some incredible things as far as grip. And then you're like, wow,
the
I
finger
grabbed that.
track. If I pick up, but you see, here's the thing: if I pick up something with the finger tracking, am I going to feel that weight in my hands?
Well, no,
No.
but it does
It's all
kind. It
virtual.
does the haptic feedback.
basically anything
that we're
short,
getting at.
anything short of like anything short of the data jack into the brain is not going to
Wow.
be enough. For
So
me.
you want-
so
Yeah, you
it's-
want
it's-
Matrix. He wants Matrix
I
or
do.
nothing. He wants to be shot
Matrix or
and
nothing.
feel it. He wants to bleed. He wants
I
to,
do.
he
He's
wants to get
playing
the
the
shit
long
kicked
game.
out of him.
That's pretty great.
I am.
He's-
All right, Evan, blow us away.
I am.
I want one of your top
God.
contenders for game of the year. What was hot this year for you?
It's so hard for me because I'm always eternally like 2-3 years behind on things.
That's okay.
So like
That's okay.
I think
Preaching to
and
the choir.
this sounds weird, but like I think that in terms of the game that was the most impactful for me
Mhm.
was a game I know I've talked about it on Checkpoint.
Fucking say
but
RimWorld,
it
I'm not.
was, what was that?
If you say RimWorld,
This
I'm
is
out.
not gonna, this is not gonna be a RimWorld thing. For once. Although I know Antonio loves those stories too, and I had a good one earlier where I shot a child in the back accidentally. Sorry.
Jesus. Welcome to the LAPD. Fuck.
But well, it's his fault. It was mostly the child's fault. I mean, honestly. But the game that was the most impactful.
Welcome to the Boston PD. You fuck.
Hold on.
There you go. But
Oh,
the game that was the most
Jesus.
impactful for me was probably Phoenix Immortals Rising, just because it was a game that
Really?
I had zero expectations for, and picked up for basically nothing. And I
Yeah.
think I dropped over 100 hours into it, and it was just I really enjoyed the world. I really enjoyed kind of what they were doing with it and all of that, and then at the same time, like I just started right before I was playing God of War, which we're going to talk about more on Checkpoint, I'm sure. But before that I was playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, and that's the first Yakuza game I've ever played, and I've been enjoying the hell out of that too. And it's just like I'm always a few years behind on some of this stuff, but it's I mean, RimWorld's obviously up there for me. I talked about this where I'm a big fan of their design philosophy and their release philosophy, where they where they announce a major update and DLC and then release it 3 weeks later. I enjoy that. I hate the long hype train. But yeah, I mean that was the big thing. I mean, like I said, right now I'm playing God of War and I'm enjoying that. But yeah, in terms of like new games this year, I can't think of any other than God of War that is really kind of I put much time into.
And you
honestly.
played Horizon Forbidden West.
I did.
Okay, listen, him and I are on the same boat. I looked at the list, like Antonio's stupid fucking list.
Fuck you. You're saying
I really enjoyed Horizon. I'm not taking anything away from that. But the problem for Horizon for me personally, and this is again another thing I talked about on Checkpoint, is I played it on PS4. And PS4, I mean, I might as well have played it on a graphing calculator. It ran so poorly that it hurt the experience for me. So for me, I think I lost some of the enjoyment out of that. So that's why it didn't have quite the impact on it for me. So
Megadads is built for parents and people who are a little bit behind, and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to play the latest shit right away. You may not have the time.
No fucking
you may
shit.
not have the money. The thing I love about MDL and even Checkpoint being monthly is, you may talk about something that's 30, 60 days old, and that's fine. So Immortals was
How about 30, 60 months?
whatever, and Immortals was really good, Evan. That's good taste, seriously, because it did a lot of good things right.
I really enjoyed it. I do like the theme of the last few years, especially when it comes to games about mythology, is basically like dads suck. Like that's the theme of God of War, Phoenix Immortal, like all these, even Valhalla, even Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Welcome to Megadads.
Yeah, exactly. It's like parents suck and dads especially. Like that's the theme over the last few years.
We want to apologize.
We're gamer life.
No. We want to apologize to the NAF, the National Association of Fathers, they're our main sponsor, and we are so sorry.
Fine.
Listen, if you're a dad, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Podcast, hold on 1 second. If you're a dad listening to this show right now, based on Evan's review, I'm sorry that you suck. and I'm sorry for your children and your wife.
My lord. And or partner.
Right.
All right, moving on.
And or life partner, yes.
Okay.
I will amend this then. I will amend this. Immortal dads suck. How about that?
Yeah, for sure. You gotta die.
How about that?
You gotta die, Dad. Bird.
You gotta die in order to not suck.
You open the.
That's why Jesus. Listen, hold on. Wait, I'm sorry. That's why Jesus was so good.
Oh God.
No.
Oh shit.
Well, I was just gonna say.
Because he died.
Fathers. I was gonna say fathers. I think the lesson you should take from this is the best thing you can do for your kids is die. So
Yeah.
I'll get right on that. Evan.
Again.
I'll get right on that.
Again. That's what Jesus did, and then And then
Jesus wasn't known for his fatherhood skills. I just want to point that out. I mean, I'm no
biblical
scholar.
That also works for brothers
Christopher Berto.
Yeah, brothers. It takes.
Well, hey, fuck you! Don't use my Christian name. Hey, fuck you, Tony. Fuck you! I'll throw goddamn turkey at your fucking face. I will put your face in Mabel's vomity shit right now. No, fuck you, Mabel. I wasn't talking to you.
Up, Mabel. All right, Berto.
Drink this.
Yeah.
Just
I give
drink
you
this,
the
Mabel.
honor of bringing up the creme de la creme, one of the most hyped games of the year. The door was opened by Evan. It was mentioned by Adam. Please talk about your top game of 2022.
All right, so like Evan, I am about 30 to 36 months behind on new game releases. Based on the list that you put out, the awful checklist and the really bad bracket for Game of the Year, 748 games released this year so far. I have played 3 new ones that are not mobile games, and I've played more new mobile games than I have console games. But you can shove that finger right up your ass, Tony. I don't care.
Can I get naked on
The
YouTube?
game that
Is that a thing?
it's a thing, but you can't do it. So that you have to put your nipples away. I swear to God. God of War Ragnarok. This. Listen, it's still too early to talk too much in depth.
How
about
many
this
hours
game.
are you in? I'm
A lot of
sorry.
people haven't. 14.
All right, thank you.
Roughly.
Thank you.
Because I'm like staring at
It matters.
everything. So
I'm
I
farther
can't-
than you are. I'm farther than you are, and yet you were
Evan,
describing
how many
a
hours, please?
non-spoilery scene that I don't remember. I think I gotta be 20-something hours into it.
Adam.
Keep talking. I'm gonna check the
All right,
app.
Berto's 14.
Oh, does the app tell you how far
Evan's
you in?
20.
I'm pretty
Wait,
sure. It's
no.
So
Holy shit.
for
Is that
all
true?
of you listening,
Wait.
I will do my best to rein in these guys to make sure that it's going to be spoiler free. Don't give
Please stop
away
talking.
any of those big, spoiler moments or story beats. But I am the only one on the podcast.
Listen to Checkpoint
then.
for that.
Yeah, I'm the only one on the podcast who has not played Ragnarok. I've actually only gotten through like 75% of God of War, the other one, the first one.
All right, so let me tell you about this game without getting no spoilers. Very generalized kind of statements about this game. Before I played this, the game I played before this, was Miles Morales, but before that was Horizon, right? Forbidden West, and that was my clear-cut choice game of the year. That's the game where, listen, if I'm going to recommend one game for you to get this year, if you haven't gotten it yet, the game that you need to play as a PlayStation fan, specifically as a PlayStation fan, is Horizon Forbidden West. The game is amazing. One of the best sequels I've ever played. I think it ups what the first Horizon did in every single way across the board. And then Sony Santa Monica comes along and says, hold my Leviathan axe, and just kills it.
That's quite the Peter Travers moment you just had there. Just want to interrupt you there.
I am enthralled by this game, in every aspect of it. Right? I mean, from the gameplay mechanics that are tweaked and improved from the first game, combat, comboing from one set of weapons to the other set of weapons. The story itself is fantastic. It's going in places where I didn't expect it to go at all. It's subverting what I thought the story was going to be in a lot of ways. Introducing some really interesting characters. The voice work and the voice acting in this game and who they got in the cast. Every time they introduce a new character, I'm like, holy like who they got to play this person. I'm like, oh my God, they got this guy in the game. Who they got to voice this person. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's in the game. I thought Bob Haskins was in the game for a second there. I thought I was playing a dwarf. I texted Adam. I'm like, is Bob Haskins this? I thought fucking Bob Haskins, and he may still be. I haven't looked up the IMDb for the game.
That would be quite the necromancer act. He's been dead for years.
He died?
That's what I'm saying. Bob Haskins, a while ago, I think.
Yes.
It's okay. He can't be offended by the fact that I thought it was him. He's dead.
I don't think he would have been
the-
offended. I just
the-
don't. I'm just saying, don't expect him.
Dude,
Yeah, sure. Well, you can deep fake anything. One thing that I tweeted this out the other day, or maybe it was this morning. I don't remember. Time is a circle. One of the things that has really captured me that I find myself being engrossed in is not the mocap, not the animation specifically, although that is spectacular. The emotion in the eyes in this game, something that, as good as Horizon was, the emotion played out across Kratos's and Atreus and the other characters in this game. When you see this quiet moment of like contemplation on Kratos's face, and you see his eyes just kind of taking it in and looking at his son and looking at whomever he's having this conversation with, or when Atreus is like having this argument with his dad. And I mentioned this. I had to tweet about it and like just say GG's to the animation department. The difference between like a triple A and a Microsoft Quad A game is the eyes and the emotion that is displayed on every one of these characters' face. Forget the visual fidelity. It's important, but like just the way the eyes are animated, and so I can't speak enough about this game. And again, I'm being general because I don't want to give out any kind of story spoilers about the game. Is just amazing. And if you have a PS5, and I do mean PS5, I think you would do yourself a disservice to play this game. Not unlike Horizon, to play this game on the PS4, I think would be doing yourself a disservice. To play this game on anything less than the performance mode would be doing yourself a disservice. To play this thing without like placing on a fucking OLED and HDR with the high refresh mode, like I can't say enough about this game. This is far and away game of the year. Like, I know there's a month and a half left of releases, and that's cool. It
Chris,
doesn't
since
matter.
we're trying to be spoiler free about it, and I'm, mainly an Xbox person. I don't have access to a PS5 at the moment, right? I want to ask two questions to you and to the other two who have played the game. Because from someone else, when the game was being marketed, I felt like there was almost no marketing. It was like I knew God of War was phenomenal, and I agree with you. The story, the scale, the storytelling was phenomenal. To be honest, it looked cool, but the combat was like a little clunky, and you talked a little bit about that being improved. But I want to know two things from you and from the other two. What, if you could pick one aspect about what elevates this game beyond the first title, what would it be? Like, what has changed for you, just, non-spoiler free, that really puts it over the edge? Because for one reason or another, they really relied on this game selling and this game being popular again based on the success of the first game. I didn't hear jack about what exact, like, usually there's some elements like, oh, in this new Saints Row game, it's much more open world and vibrant, and we've upped the whatever, like there's always a thing. So for you, Berto, what differentiates this from the first title that really makes it a game of the year?
Two things.
Go ahead.
I'll give you two things. One, which is kind of a more basic thing, but important for me, the gameplay, the moment-to-moment gameplay, the combat, right, which is a big part of the God of War series. The combat, and especially at the high frame rate mode, like the performance mode, it's buttery smooth. But the combat is just the way you can, and I know you can do this in the first one, but I feel like it's so much more improved. The way you can chain combos and switch between the axe and the what they call the blades of chaos. The way you can switch between them on a dime mid combo, and as you use it, rewards you based off of your playstyle. So if you want to do a particular type of thing, like a particular combo that works well for you, or an ability that works well for you, as you do that ability, you improve you gain like a it's not spoil. You gain like
it's kind of the Skyrim model.
A very minor.
The more you do it, the better you
yes.
get.
Oh wow. Okay.
So you get like an attribute, and once you unlock this attribute, you can get one of three things. And it's always the same. It's like increases the amount of damage it does, increases the amount of defense that you get while you're doing the move, so you don't get like interrupted, or you can increase the amount of like elemental effect damage that move does to an enemy. But it's not equal, right? So let's say you do a move where with the blades you grab a guy and you set him on fire. You can do one of three things. If you level that up, you can get one of three things. You can slightly increase the damage, you can moderately increase how much they're stunned for, or you can greatly increase your individual defense while you're doing the move, because it's a lengthy move. So it's not like the increase is equal across the board. It's a small amount of damage, a medium amount of stun, or a great amount of defense to yourself. And those values are different based off of the move. So some moves might get a lot more damage and very little defense, and vice versa. So depending on what kind of playstyle you're going for, I'm doing all strength. I don't give a shit about runic power. I don't give a shit about defense. I want to murder things as quickly as humanly possible. So everything for me that does the most damage is my playstyle. The other thing, and I'm trying to go on a tangent. The other thing, this game feels much more streamlined. Where the first one, you're still traveling between realms, but you're not going back and forth between realms. You're not going to this central hub and constantly having to go. You go from story progresses you to a place, and you do that place. And the way I play, because I'm methodical, I don't want to replay it twice to get the platinum. I will go to the place and do everything that is available in that place, which is maybe why I'm so much further behind in story than Evan is, because I don't know, maybe it's backwards. But I'm doing everything. So you get there, you do the main story, and then before you leave to go back to what's next, hey, do you want to do anything else here? The story isn't in this one. The story of the first game was you're trying to get somewhere and you kind of have this urgency. You had to get there. So I didn't spend a lot of time dilly-dallying. In this one, the story is, yes, important, literally Ragnarok, but also they present it in a way that, hey, listen, we got to go do this thing. But also, while we're here, you so-and-so owes a lot of favors to people in this realm. Or
But
so-and-so.
the thing
ahead.
that's so perfect about that, though, is in every single one of those instances that you're talking about, the game gives you a subtle off ramp
Mm-hmm.
where they give you the option to continue with that core story, or you can continue with this side character that they present you at the time, and they want to show you a little bit something. And
Mhm.
what that little thing is a huge fucking side quest with so much depth. So much depth and character and story and progress. But you don't have to do it. And if you don't feel like you're missing anything. It's not like an
But
open
you
world
are
game
missing
where
something
they
because you're saying it's great.
I would
But-
say,
but
go ahead.
you don't necessarily know that because it's
Ah.
not like a shit ton of icons on your map showing you all these things you can
Right.
do. So you can sidestep that, and there's no real penalty because
Mhm.
you're continuing on this very urgent core story. But if you have the patience and the interest in doing that side content, don't take the off ramp.
Damn, shit.
Because there's
There's no
much
way
there.
I would not. So you're saying that there is a character that kind of leads you into what would be amount to be like a massive side quest in each area that you're
Yeah.
in, and you can go and discover
So-
and do that if you want to. I don't know a reason why I would not, because the characters are so amazing and the locales are so beautiful. I don't know why I would not want to spend more time there. That's interesting.
Yeah, so without a very vague, it's not a spoiler, but with that very vague, you do, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. I won't say what I was going to say, just in case. Every zone, every world, as Adam said, you can do the core story, and it gives you this option. Hey, you can do this or you can do this, and it is not necessary. You can completely not do it, and as I understand, you can go back and do all the side stuff at any time, and the side stuff doesn't necessarily build on the core story, but if you care about the world building, skipping this stuff would be detrimental to your experience with the game. It is not required, highly advised, because not doing so, you would be missing out on what I think is some of the best content in the game. It's because when you do these side stories, you and that secondary character that you're with at the time have these interpersonal moments that flesh out their motivation, why they're why they are the way that they are. Like I wish me and you, Tony, had a side mission so I could understand why the fuck you are the way that you are.
All right, bitch, stop. You're cut off, Adam. Do you have anything else to add? I really want to know, because it wasn't marketed, is there anything that really elevates God of War Ragnarok above the other game? Why does it deserve to yet another place in the game of the year?
I think the thing that makes God of War Ragnarok so special is it does what so many great sequels fail to do, in the fact that it sidesteps expectations, delivers so much more than you ever thought would be there. It could very well just take the core of 2018 and do more.
Mhm.
But Ragnarok deviates and sidesteps what you think you want out of this game and delivers so much more of a full world experience. There are so many interesting side characters. There are so many interesting side stories. A lot of the side characters from the original game are fleshed out to an incredible degree. It is such a ensemble piece. Like God of War 2018 is Kratos and Atreus. And there's some side characters there, but it's Kratos and Atreus. This
Yep.
game has so many side characters with so much to say. Some of them new, some of them carry over. And it just delivers so much more of a full, rich experience that I was not expecting at all.
before I pass it to Evan, because we are doing video, so people can see our lovely faces, I want everybody to know Antonio had to get up to go pee-pee because he had too much booze. So Antonio's gone because he's urinating. And when you watch this part of the video, I want you to comment and laugh at him, okay? Because he couldn't hold his bladder like a big boy. Now, Evan.
I think that's a good. Well, see, now I'm terrified.
It's a good segue.
I was gonna go grab something to drink, but if I'm gonna be roasted while I'm gone, I don't know if I want to do that.
You won't be roasted. You're going to get a drink. That's an acceptable reason to get up. I got up to turn the lights off and like turn the fan on. You're not going to pee-pee like a little boy, so you can go get a drink.
No, I'm not. So
God of War, what's your thought?
I kind of wish. I kind of wish
You went first.
Antonio was here because the question.
Spoil it for him now.
We'll wait for him now. Yeah. Well, the question was, what elevates this?
Maybe he's taking a shit.
Well, he might. He very well could be. Luckily, I'm long-winded, so this will take a while to actually spit out. The question was, what elevates this over even God of War, the 2018 one? And I'm gonna be the grumpy old man here and say I don't know that it does. I don't know that, like, the overwhelming feeling I've had while playing it. Aside from the fact, I mean, I agree with just about everything you guys have said. The voice acting is outstanding. The mocap is great. The writing is by and large pretty good. When I found out that Anthony Birch was one of the writers on this, a whole lot of things started making sense. If you don't know, Anthony Birch wrote Borderlands 2, and has done a lot of stuff in that vein. So
this game has got a weird sense of humor.
It does, and I'd be willing to bet a lot of it from Anthony Birch. It doesn't do anything worse than 2018, but I don't really know what it does better. I'm not as impressed with the combat as Berto is. I think it's good. I mean, I'm not complaining, but I don't see it. The biggest thing that kind of amazed me is that there's so much about this game that feels like it's a direct continuation of the story. It feels like DLC for the bigger game because there's so much about the story that assumes you just got done playing 2018. Like you know who these characters are, you know what these references are. I had to go look up half the stuff because I don't remember who this character was, and it's not even the big characters. It's all the Mimir stories. It's we went and did this, or we went and saw this person. It's like, I don't remember that. And they just kind of assume that you, and even mechanically, they kind of assume you just got done playing 2018.
Yeah.
That is true.
There is absolutely no tutorial, which is hilarious because my biggest complaint about the game so far, and it's one of the rare times that I and the internet agree, is that they are way too chatty when it comes to helping dialogue.
Yes.
Like maybe let me try to solve the puzzle for more than 5 seconds before telling me what I'm doing wrong. I get enough of that.
Horizon did the same thing.
Horizon was bad.
Did the exact
this
same
is worse
thing.
than Horizon. This was worse than Horizon.
Oh, you think? I don't think it's. I don't think it's as
worse.
bad, but it definitely tells you, like, you're looking. There's a puzzly element. Or maybe it's not even a puzzle element. You're just. I like to find all the collectibles. I'm looking around. Mm-hmm. The world's beautiful. I want to go explore. And then Mimir or Atreus, like, maybe you should try doing this in that direction. I'm like, no, fucker, I don't want to do that. Real quick, hold on 1 second.
I am
Tony?
old and stupid, so I love that shit.
I'm fine with it, and I'm just as old and stupid as you are, but maybe don't tell me to do something as I'm doing that thing. Like, I've clearly figured out what
My
I
wife
have to do.
does that to me when I'm in the kitchen. She's like, "Hey, look over here. These are the spoons, dumbass."
Like half the time it doesn't even give me the opportunity to fail before it starts helping me. Like, let me fail for a little bit.
It just knows
like,
you're going to.
I'm not offended. I'm not offended when I get the message where it's like, you've died a bunch of times. Maybe dial the difficulty down. Like, I'm not offended by that because I'm as aware of how much I suck as anyone else. But it's like, give me more than 5 seconds to work on this puzzle, or I don't need to be told 10 times that I'm on fire. Like, I'm aware.
He does. He does tell you when you're poisoned and on fire. Hey Tony,
like
real
anybody
quick.
would not know
Yes,
they're
sir.
on fire.
Tony, real quick. I let the people know because we are on video. I let everybody know that you were going to take a shit.
I had to
So
urinate.
I just want. No, hold on. I just want to know because we're Thanksgiving and everything. Did everything come out okay, or was it
no
like gravy?
So it went very poor.
Because you've been drinking a
Yes,
lot,
I
so
mean,
I assume it was
yeah.
runny.
So I've had a beer and like 6 shots. So it went bad, but I did urinate and it did not go well. So I don't know how much detail you want.
It went all over the wall.
Did you ever see that movie Scanners where the guy, his head just like explodes? Anyway, for those who know the reference, it was something like that. Moving on. I want to give Evan the opportunity to
He's already done.
No, I want to give him an opportunity to round robin. You know, round robin is where you come back. And Evan, I want your
That's a boomerang.
second most. Anything else that deserves an honorable mention or that's at the top of your 2022. Just because we could speak for 6 hours, but I do want to keep moving it along. So tell me, what's something people really should play?
Well, here, if we're doing that, it's not a new game for the most part, but I'm sorry, I have a cat in front of me and it's pissing me off.
Who cat is just rubbing its
seriously.
ass all
How do
over
you
your
deal
business.
with that?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cat
yeah.
Just, that cat is saturating your fucking chin with his butthole.
It's
Hold on, wait. Any chance that there's glitter in there?
Why would there be glitter in there?
Adam knows.
I am more a roommate than a homeowner, frankly. So it's
cats are fun.
Anyway, but it was just released on for Switch, Persona 5 Royale. So a lot of people are going to be playing that for the first time on Switch. It is probably, I think it's the best Persona. And the Royale version, they do that thing that I don't know why Japanese developers do. I think they assume that their core audience is a lot more hardcore than they are. But it's like, we're going to release it. We're not going to release it as a DLC pack. We're not going to add, because they basically add another 20-30% of the game to the end of it. Plus they kind of tweak some mechanics from the original one. But they don't release it as DLC. They just release it as a whole new game. So what I ended up having to do, I've played through Persona 5 3 times now, because
oh my lord,
I played through it once.
100 hours,
700 years long.
Yeah. I was like 70 hours in the first time, and then I had my PlayStation died, or it was forcibly updated, and I hadn't saved. I was relying on the suspend.
Oh yeah.
So I lost like 20 hours of gameplay. So I stopped playing there. Then I played it again when I got the PS5. I played through that, got about 50 hours into that, and then one of the voice actors died for it, and that's when and reading kind of about that death and all of that, he was a character that was only in Royale. And so that's when I realized how different Royale was from the base game. So I'm like, okay, let me buy Royale. I'll start over. So yeah, total, I'd say between the 3 plays, I'm about 200 hours into it.
Wow.
And I platinumed it. So it's like, my fandom is well established. But yeah, on Switch, I've heard nothing but good things about the Switch port. I think it works perfectly well with the Switch. I love the Persona games. They're probably my favorite franchise in terms of JRPGs right now. Just because it's so incredibly Japanese, like modern Japanese, and I'm just enough of a weeb to kind of get off on that. So it's I enjoy the hell out of it. So I would say if you got a Switch and you like
away
JRPGs,
from the turkey.
definitely get. I said just enough. I'm not I don't get into the weird stuff, but definitely get that for the Switch.
Well, Evan, I'm so glad that you brought that up. And according to Adam, because I did question before we started our Thanksgiving episode here, like, are remakes, re-releases, are they allowed? And I guess in the vein of dads, not being able to get to everything and just like giving credit where credit's due, it is amazing when when amazing games are brought to a new audience. And he did say that it was allowed. So I would like to echo that. It is on my like honorable mentions as far as like re-release stuff goes, or
That's a
the
great
remake goes.
fucking game. I haven't
Adam, can you
finished it.
please
I'm on
can
a
you give me
pause
my
from it.
props that I encouraged you to give that game a try?
You did talk me in, you and Nick talked me into playing this game, and it's good. It's really
I
fucking good.
talked him
It's
into
very
it. Um,
it's very intimidating from like just knowing how much is in front of you, but damn, is it not fun as shit to run around a modern Tokyo. The only thing that kind of holds me back is just how weird the demon shit is. Like it's weird. Like it's really fucking
Yeah.
weird. I love the characters though. The characters are so much fun.
So Adam, I'm sorry, you've never played a Persona game, correct? This is your 5 Royale. This is the first one you've played?
I haven't played Royale. I've played
Oh,
just
okay, so you played
base
5.
Yep.
So I have not played any of the Persona games. Can you just not play any of the Persona games and play 5 or Royale or whatever the fuck it is,
Yep.
and be like totally
they're
get
like,
it, totally
they're
on
like
board?
Final Fantasies. They're all. I mean, there's references back and forth, and there are recurring characters within all of the series, but you don't. They're recurring in the sense of recurring characters in a Marvel after credit scene. Like they're not important to the story, but if you know, and you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, there's themes that go throughout, like the idea of what a persona is, the weird factor, like the fact that you are, adolescents in a real world, and then you're also half the time, or more than half the time, in a like fantasy, like struggle.
Do you want to go kill demons, or do you want to go shop for shoes for a day?
Exactly, and I will
Gucci shoes, please.
I will say, like, I'm playing it on the Steam Deck as far as streaming the Xbox Game Pass version, and I kind of want to play it natively, because when I do get the opportunity to play Persona 5 Royale on the big screen, you really see the fantastic details in the animation shine through, because you're always going to get the audio and the fantastic music and the engaging gameplay, turn-based combat, and the music, but the subtle but amazing like visuals that they have going on in that game is one of
color, the design. It's so sharp.
I was so happy that Adam
I
gave
want
it a
that
chance, because I knew that he was going to enjoy.
I want that
the
team to do a
visual
Cowboy
aspect.
Bebop game. I want that team to do a Cowboy Bebop game. Like that would like it is.
Tony just.
Oh, sorry,
Tony just.
Evan. Oh my God, Evan, you can't talk about that. All right, so I do want to bring up my game of the year.
No, you're on timeout. Fuck you. You're on timeout. Get your dick out of the cranberry sauce.
Antonio needs to talk about Elden Ring so that I can walk away.
So,
yeah, I'm going.
Oh, is it nap time?
Adam's gonna have a little.
I'm gonna take a
Are
shit.
you all gonna take a bathroom break at the time that I talk about
No,
mine?
I'm gonna grab a drink. I'll be right back.
Oh Lord Jesus! All right, everybody. Welcome to Megadad's Thanksgiving episode. If you are listening and you've been a first-time or a long-time member, a listener of Megadads, we want to thank you seriously, because we have put our heart and soul into all the content that we make, whether it's the YouTube stuff or the podcast stuff, and we really appreciate you tuning in, listening, and subscribing. It's pretty fantastic. We feel a bond with each and every one of you. Most of you have interacted with us on the Megadads Discord and followed us on Twitter and just kept up with us, and we really appreciate it. If you're anything like me, you've listened to all of the awesome Megadad stuff over the years, and then one day you decided to just jump in and get more involved and get to know the hosts, get to know the people who are making the content, and realizing how much you have in common. And that's what I did years ago. And I was lucky enough to have a group of friends that built around the whole experience. So from us to you, we're super thankful for you being here, for you tuning in each and every time. the hardcore of the hardcore are listening to this Thanksgiving episode, and you mean the world to us. Bottom line. So continue with us on your dad journey, this beautiful, frustrating, happy, insane thing. All the mega dads love all of our mega fans, and we really appreciate it. Okay,
We're,
so
we're still
nobody's
talking about Elden Ring.
no, so nobody's gonna give me the
No?
time of day to talk about it. So
No,
seriously, if
I actually, I love. I want to know more about Elden Ring. I've because every time I look at it,
Sorry, I was doing
like
Okay.
business.
I love the art direction. I love the philosophy behind it, but it's like I just haven't pulled the trigger on it because I got burned so hard on Dark Souls and Bloodborne
well,
that I'm like I don't know if I want to go. I don't know if I want to step my toe back into it.
similar to how I convinced Adam to get into a JRPG of JRPGs in Persona 5, I've been trying to spread the good word of Elden Ring. And Elden Ring is, I mean, let's be honest, on the top of everybody's Game of the Year list, even in conflict with God of War Ragnarok. There's people who are in one camp or another or both. And the reason why I would like to explain to you. Okay, so with Souls like games, the challenge of it and the overcoming of impossible odds and saying this game is so hardcore, but if I just practice enough, I will burst through. And that emotion will just be so elating and so amazing that I'll want to keep going. There is that. And I tried Dark Souls. I tried Dark Souls 2, I tried Dark Souls 3, all of these Souls-like games I tried, and I never got past 4 or 5 hours, and it was just too much. Side tangent, there is a game called Mortal Shell that is on Xbox and other platforms that was a Souls-like, that was a little bit more forgiving. Basically, what happened is if you got killed, you would be hit out of your character, and your soul would be able to run back to your body, and then
Oh, these
at
fucking
that
games.
point you'd be able to like keep fighting with like a lower health or something like that. So Mortal Shell was
God of War has like 6 different difficulty levels, and it doesn't give a fuck if you play on pussy mode or super hard, and it's still a great game either
so
which
the
way.
great thing about Elden Ring, Evan, the great thing about Elden Ring, and Adam, you've doubted me before, that's all I have to say. The good thing about
We doubt you every single fucking
I
day.
doubt- I'm
the
still
great
doubting
thing
you.
about Elden Ring is that it takes this idea of I'm gonna go out into a world and I am going to fight very intimidating, almost impossible like enemies, right? And it also gives you an alternate path. So if you start the game with a little bit of advice and you get a particular weapon that suits your playstyle and you invest more into your health pool than normal, and you stick to the enemies that are within your skill level, then you'll enter this very dangerous world, just like all the other Souls games. But you'll get very much more, you'll get further and you'll feel better about yourself as you go, and it'll keep you going. So, as an example, I picked the right weapon. I did my research, I was like, whatever. And I knew that if I started with giving myself a bigger health pool, I wouldn't be dead in 3 hits. I would get at least 6, 7 hits because of how I built my character. And that's all you need to be able to fight bigger things. And then you feel awesome because you're having a traditional like boss fight with like things that are way bigger and way taller than you, and you're overcoming them. And if you do it in the right way and you make your way through this amazing fantasy, medieval, like evil, like crazy world, you'll fight these amazing creatures and you'll overcome. It does take a little bit more thinking, but unlike other Souls games, it gives you an avenue that makes it much more user friendly, much more approachable. And it's so much so that I spent at least 40 hours with the game so far, and I did pull back away from it because I went on vacation, blah, 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 and I didn't come back to it right away. But people are able to go at their own skill level and pace, and you will learn, and it is much more approachable, and it really is fantastic. If you like a game that keeps throwing new things at you every step of the way, if you like a sense of exploration, this is the game for you. And Adam, I fucking won you over before with Persona. Don't even fucking say I didn't.
I'm not playing this goddamn
You
game.
see?
I'm not
Listen,
playing
you
this
mentioned
game.
Tony. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is worse than my family Thanksgiving. This
You
is fucking...
I'll
I
tell you
would
what.
never invite
When
you to
this got-
Thanksgiving.
when
Fucking
Tell you
never.
what. I'll tell you what put the nail in the coffin. You said you did fucking research on this game. Before
Well,
I was just gonna say
Fucking nerd.
Well, I
Listen,
listen.
article-
you
listen,
fucking
I want to
nerd.
say this because I'll give you props. It is not easy.
Let
Well,
Evan talk.
don't.
Let
It is
Evan
not-
talk.
Yeah, shut the
It
fuck
is
up,
not
Tony.
easy in this
No,
game.
no.
It is not easy in this game to shift from one build to another. That's all I want to say.
It's not easy in this life to listen to you talk.
The
Shut up.
research that the
Here's the thing.
research that you need to do is to know that health is important early on, or else you'll die too quick, just like other Souls games. That's all I want.
Do you know what game I played this year that made me do zero research? Every fucking game I played this year. Jesus fucking Christ, Tony. Evan, can you just say something
ahead,
that
Evan.
isn't related
Tell
to
these
Tony
guys.
at all?
Tell them.
Well, no,
Please.
I mean, I was gonna say a similar thing, but much nicer, and that is and that is the and that is the byline for Megadeth's Checkpoint right there. Just what Berto said, just nicer. Every discussion that I've read or been a part of where someone's trying to sell me on this game, and I like I said, I love the stuff that I'm seeing, and if this was an animated show or a series, I would be all in. It'd be fantastic. Every time someone tries to sell me on this game, they always include all you got to do is read this thing ahead of time or watch this video ahead of time. And the second I have to do anything outside of I was reading a discussion today on Reddit about, it was the God of War versus Elden Ring for Game of the Year thing. This guy was like trying to convince people to get into it, and he's like, look, I realize there's a lot going on, but if you just get this interactive map app, it makes it much easier. It's like, no, if the game does not give me if the game doesn't give me all the tools I need to enjoy the game, that is a bad game design. I'm sorry.
I want
I like that people like it. I understand that this is something, and there are people that love that exploring aspect, and I enjoy exploring too. But when the biggest advocates for the game tell you to use things outside of it to make it palatable, that's bad. That's a bad sales pitch. I'm sorry.
All right,
And
I understand, and I just want to say this. Adam, what was one of the first JRPGs that you've ever played that was also
Final
fantastic?
Fantasy 2.
And did it change you as far as what your taste would be for the rest of your gaming life?
What?
Adam,
I was 12.
Adam tried something new that was out of his wheelhouse, and it made a great impact in him. And I just want to say that the elation that we all feel in all of these games that we play that aren't Elden Ring, that aren't Souls, you feel accomplished when things are challenging. And that's period. And I will agree with you guys that Souls games have gone overboard. They've gone overboard.
If I have to do research, I'm not playing the fucking game.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. You're not hearing the point that the Souls games have gone overboard with you have to be super hardcore in order to feel the payoff. What I'm trying to tell
you just told me to
what I'm
read.
No.
You just told me to
You
do
don't have
research.
to.
No, you did.
You don't have to do the research because I've given you the one little piece of advice. Was
that health is important? Yeah. No shit, Mario taught me that. You fucking idiot.
You might be tempted. You might be tempted to go into another area when you spec and you level. So all I'm trying to say, and you may talk shit, but one day, if ever any three old motherfuckers gave it a real chance and you followed my advice, you would love it. And I stand by that.
I will probably.
Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Like you're trying to make it into a little bit different than what it is, and I'm trying to say that you'll get a rush. You'll get a rush, and it's not even that hard.
Here's the problem, though, is that this game genre has gone so inception up its own asshole that the mere thought of these games is punishment.
Did you ever play Zelda?
They've done that to
Did you ever play
themselves.
a Zelda game where you're fighting the enemies? And it's cool because you're in this fantasy aspect. You have the sword, you have the shield.
Zelda sucks.
Okay, but anyway, I like the combat mostly actually in that game, along with the exploration aspect. And combat in games is exhilarating when you're able to have a challenge. And I'm telling you that the challenge in Elden Ring is not insurmountable. It's not even very hardcore if you approach it correctly. That's all I want to say.
All you gotta do is write a dissertation, and then you can fucking platinum the
Reject
game.
it if you'd like. Reject the small minds in the audience will never accept.
Tony, you know I respect your opinion on this, but you really sound.
I don't.
Like
Look, there's
the guys.
Let me be real.
You sound like the guys. You sound like the guys in my office that try to say we're all a family here, but we just can't give you raises. Like you're trying to cover up bad news.
Okay. Anyone
by appealing to
news.
some sort of airy fairy kind of thing to it.
All right.
It's just like
I
get that, and
you have a lot of negativity associated with Souls-like games, and that's why the conversation is skewed the way that you all are approaching it. That's all I have to say. Let's move on, but I just want to say that I guarantee you that it is more of a normal, not grueling, not you have to research shit. I'm trying to tell you that if you do these things that I just told you, which was very quick, you could have a nice combat-oriented, very level with who you're killing, and very awesome experience in a great world. And that's all I'm gonna say. And keep rejecting if you'd like, but you're missing out. And anyone who's not
I'll pick it up when it's on sale.
Wait, let me just tell you, there are thousands of people out there that have played Elden Ring and God of War, and you'll hear them still be conflicted about what the game of the year is. And I just want to tell you that they're not all like hardcore, like out of their mind. I always loved Souls games because I didn't like Souls games, and I've never gotten 3 hours past into a Souls game. So again, you can reject the facts, but there are thousands out there who are trying to tell you, hey guys, Elden Ring is a game of the year contender, and you're like, that game is so fucking, they're for the hardcore analytic types.
I'm just saying that I'm the guy who likes when Mimir tells me every 15 seconons where the ledge is.
All right, moving on. Moving on. We're gonna round robin it. I do need to say, I'm gonna give Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak a shout out because, and I've explained this to Adam on one of the MDL podcasts. Long story short, it did come out this year. And not only did Monster Hunter Rise come out this year, but the Sunbreak expansion came out in the same year, and it's awesome. You fight gigantic monsters.
Monsters, right?
Super.
You hunt them first.
Yeah, it's called Monster Hunter. Yeah, we got that.
The monsters. But it's, you know what's really cool about it is you go to play online and you don't have to have friends who are playing at the same time. You just say, "Oh, I want to play. I don't have any friends. I want to do this hunt. I want to do this mission with other people," and it'll slot people in there. And the community, it's not a very complicated game.
Whoa.
So
is this on? Are you playing on Switch?
I have it on PC and Switch. I double dipped and played full price on both because of how much I love the game. And in PC, it has widescreen 21:9 support, and it is really amazing, and I do suggest it. So Monster Hunter is a contender for me, but if I had to do a second one, my first one again would be Elden Ring. My second one is Vampire Survivors. Please raise your hand if you've played Vampire Survivors. It's an incredible...
Mabel also likes being double-dipped. She told me before she got drunk.
Oh shit! You woke her up. Shh, Mabel. Shh.
Go back.
No.
Go back to sleep.
No.
Go back to
Mabel,
sleep.
meet me in the closet in about 20 minutes.
She's gonna be pissed when we tell her she has to do the dishes. By the way.
Yeah. Well, she's gonna be more mad when she's do
I'm
Tony.
lick you down like a Werther's, Mabel. All right, so. Oh my God!
Can you wash it first? Jesus Christ, she's filthy when she's
got a
fucking
mouth
wasted.
like a trombone.
So I'm a Steam Deck owner, and in 2022, the highlight for me has been able to get back to that convenient gameplay, handheld experience like I used to have with Switch, but like much less of a compromise as far as like capabilities. And Vampire Survivors, like statistically, is literally one of the top played games on Steam Deck, and for good reason. It's like a low graphically intensive game. It has
It's Gauntlet,
it
isn't it? Isn't this like Gauntlet?
so the whole thing is it has a aesthetic that's definitely like a 8-bit, so like it's like old school, and it also has a Castlevania like theme where you are using like an axe and a whip and fire and different things like
Think
Castlevania.
Gauntlet combined with Cookie Clicker.
Yeah. So then
What's Cookie Clicker?
You ever heard of Cookie Clicker?
no.
I've never heard of
It's
Cookie Clicker.
It's like what's that game called? Vampire Survivor. It's just like Vampire Survivors.
So,
So-
what the fuck?
What?
That's what we're talking
Wow.
about. Anyway, so long story short,
It took me a second to realize you were making a joke and just weren't stupid for a second there. So,
it's like so
Listen, I can do
you
both.
did
I can do both.
it's true.
you defeat waves of monsters in succession waves, and you have a limited move set, and it's all about like where you're moving your character on screen, and you level up very quickly, and it's all about the rush of collecting coins to unlock new power-ups and unlocking weapons and then upgrades to your weapons that make you more powerful, and you're trying to get through these stages, and it's all entirely basic, but it's all revolved around that gotcha mechanic, that like gambler mechanic where it's like you're getting a little bit better, you just leveled up, and so many people out there have been playing the game, so if you played it, you know that Vampire Survivors is incredible, and it's very low. I think it's like $5 full price. Shit, it's like
That sounds
it's
right.
dirt.
I mean, it's basically a jumped up Flash game in a lot of ways, and I mean
Fuck
that
you!
in the nicest way possible.
No, wait, I like
No, I
Flash
mean that in the
games.
nicest
No,
way
never
possible.
mind.
I mean, this
I'm
is-
sorry.
this is-
I forgot that I like Flash.
You
I
just got really upset. I
I
forgot.
personally like Flash games, so go ahead. I'm sorry, but
I
other
do
people.
too. Like I've played more than my share, but I mean it's
Amen, brother.
it is a very basic game, and I agree
You
with
just killed Adam.
It's incredibly
I
basic.
agree,
There's almost no skill involved.
Fuckers are
Yeah,
hilarious.
and
That's why you
why-
like it.
and that's why I made the comparison to Cookie Clicker, where it's the sole kind of
If you say
interaction
cookie
is
clicker one more
your
time, you're
movement.
gonna have to tell me what it is.
I'm
You've ne-
so
am I-
aroused.
Seriously? So yeah,
Cookie
just
clicker
Google Cookie
sounds
Clicker.
like a
It
fucking
isn't-
porn, bro.
It sounds like the thing that Mabel's waiting for Tony to do later in the closet. No, that's cookie. Hold
So
on.
if you-
That's
you ever-
cookie
you
liquor.
ever-
That's
never heard of
cookie.
I-
Take. Oh,
You've never heard of idle games? Like it's one of those where it kind of plays itself, and so the upgrades are about how
this is
often.
great for the podcast, Tony.
I'm gonna mute him.
Can I ask what platform is
Yeah.
Cookie? No, don't fucking mute me. It's the Thanksgiving
I think
episode,
it's
you
PC
bitch.
only. I don't know.
It's
There-
PC only.
It's
Cookie
look at
clicker.
mobile. Just look up
I'm
idle
gonna
games.
Google
It's
it
the
right now.
same. Please do. But yeah, all it is you're just watching timers go up basically, and so
That's not a
in term-
game. I'd rather do research.
It is. It is. It is. You know, I can't. I enjoyed Vampire Survivors, and I understand the hype behind it. But to me, it feels like this is something that I think it benefited from when it released. And you know, if it had released a few years ago, I don't think it would have gotten nearly the hype it did. But because it was available on Steam Deck that early, and it's a fine game. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a fine game. But to see the kind of fervent fandom behind that, it seems a little confusing. But it does hit that part of the brain that just wants to see numbers get higher. You know, and there is that just pure reptile brain kind of reaction to it, and I
Agreed.
get that, and I've put in hours to that game too. So there's not taking anything away from it, but yeah, it is a very basic game.
So I 1000% agree, and I think most people out there would. There's no alternative thing to say about it. What I can say is, I mean, to be completely honest, in the 5 minutes before I pass out, before bed, it doing a run in that gives me all the endorphins that I need, that accomplishment, that like, oh, this was fun. And I will give it one thing though, with Vampire Survivors, as you do well, the game changes in slight ways that it'll unlock a new character, new weapon, new area, new enemy, and it will give you that. And I think that in that aspect of any game is important to me. I want to see something new every now and then. I don't want to do the same thing over 30 hours or whatever it is. And I put, probably like 12 hours into the game, and I've really enjoyed my time. We have gone quite a bit, and I already gave a very heartfelt shout out to all the MDL listeners out there. Adam Leonard, I want to say one thing before I turn the mic over to you next. I want to be thankful, and I think Adam, Berto, and everyone else on the team is very thankful for Adam, because he is a strong person. He is a fun person. He is a
What the fuck?
He
What's
is a
happening?
I'm trying to say what I'm thankful for. He is
Are we allowed to lie like that on the internet?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Also, he's not that strong. His eyes fucking
I'm
suck.
not.
They're
his-
dying
I'm
on
not-
him.
His body is
Adam.
failing us in real time.
Adam, I'm not gonna tell you.
He's decomposing as we record. Look at this guy. He's fucking crying the whole goddamn
Listen,
show.
It isn't
I'm
a
like
Zoom
the
filter.
mummy.
That's happening.
Adam, you are very
Yeah.
Adam, you are very talented beyond measure. I only know about 3 people who are more talented than you, and one of them is the person that.
Jesus Christ. David Letterman.
Have you been reading my
and Dave
diaries?
Grohl.
Jesus,
Adam.
David Letterman, and who?
Adam,
Dave Grohl.
Dave. Oh, okay. yeah.
When I first
Yeah.
listened to
Dave Grohl, I'd
Megadeth,
give you.
Oh, and Elliot.
when I first
And Elliot.
Yes,
when I
that's
first
true.
listened to Megadeth, the reason why I stuck with it is because I told myself, I wish I had, a brother like this. And you are that brother. You are everyone's brother who
Oh.
listens. I'm not fucking around with you. To have somebody who's of that, mentality and that age range and that kindness and that giving,
Motherfucker,
I'm
what?
thankful for you, and I just want to interject that in there. Now, we do have to wrap it up pretty quickly.
Hold on, pause. Wait, does that make you the uncomfortable uncle? Because I believe that it does.
Sit on my lap, Berto, because I'll be your uncomfortable
Somebody's
uncle.
got to be. Somebody's got to be the drunk
So,
uncle.
for-
in this
for all-
Thanksgiving
for all
party.
you-
As long as we're being honest here, I would like to point out that this is the first show or the first moment where I realized that Adam's last name is pronounced Leonard or whatever.
What did you think it
Fuck.
was? Wait,
Okay,
was
hold
like
on.
What
Story
did you
time.
think it was? He
I
says
thought it was like
all the time.
Lionheart.
Oh
I
man,
don't
I've
listen
heard
to
it
him.
all. I've
Hey,
heard
dude,
Leonhardt,
dude,
Lionheart.
you should-
Lionheart. I would say it was
Lenhart.
Leonheart.
You should
I gotta
change
admit,
that
you're
shit.
Yeah, it's
slightly
just
less
Leonard.
cool now.
Hey,
You're
let's
slightly
change
less
it.
cool now.
Who would fucking
Leonhart
argue?
sounded cooler.
Leonard. I'm just throwing it.
I'm a man of mystery.
I only read things. I don't listen to people talk. So
You're a man of herpes. Shut up.
All right, we do have to wrap it up, but if anything's heavy,
Well, wait. I thought we had shitty games. We talk about shitty games to
I
avoid.
just
Don't buy your loved ones certain
If-
games.
listen,
let me.
listen.
We'll do one.
No,
Shut your.
you shut the
shut
fuck up!
abs-
Shut the
you
fuck
shut
up,
the fuck
Dale!
up. Out
Oh,
in
this
the
is
ring.
so
Shut the
great.
fuck
Stop.
up!
Yeah.
My Mabel, you.
There's one game.
Mabel, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh,
She's
you
right.
dirty whore,
She's
Mabel.
right. We should
You
get
guys
along.
yelled and you woke her up.
She's.
I know. Listen, there's one game that I want to tell everybody to, and we'll all agree. No one will disagree.
Round
with me on
robin.
this. I
Everybody
guarantee
gets
it.
one. Oh.
And if anybody agrees, you have to touch Tony.
Go.
Listen, if
Don't
you
look
have
away at
your this is Megadads. If you have children that you love, and you love them, and you want to buy them that you won't that will make them not hate you, don't buy your children the new Pokemon Scarlet or whatever the fuck it's called. Don't do it. Don't buy those games for your children because they're bad.
I muted him.
Thank God. Thank fucking Christ. So listen, this is for real. This is an hour and some change has gone by, hour and a half. If you take away anything I say, don't buy this piece of shit fucking game. Get them a 3DS and an old Pokemon game if you love your children. Just don't let them play this Scarlet bullshit with texture pop in. It looks like it's running on a Commodore 64 through a Vaseline filter. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Okay, that's my game recommendation to avoid. Tony can't speak because he's muted. Adam, no, you're still muted. No, you're muted, bitch. Adam, go ahead.
So my game to avoid this year, I don't even know that it's a bad game, but I definitely did not connect with it. And that's Splatoon 3. And I think the reason that I did not connect with it was the price point. They charged full price like Nintendo does. They charge full price on all these games. And Splatoon 3 is fine, but Splatoon 3 is absolutely no better than Splatoon 2. And it's certainly no better than just like a DLC add-on. So I played the game 3 times and I just got pissed that I spent as much money on the fucking game that I did. So I set it down. I chose Splatoon 3 over The Last of Us Part 1. And that was a big fucking mistake.
Whoa. Hold the fuck on. You need a confession. Where's Podcast Confessional? You had an option of buying either Splatoon 3 or The Last of Us Part 1 remake, which arguably doesn't need to exist, right? You can, whatever. But you chose fucking Split. You love your children, and that was a mistake.
Well, here's my thought process is I knew The Last of Us would go on sale, which it has. It is right now.
Yes.
And I knew Splatoon would never go on sale. So it didn't matter when I bought that game. I figured I'd buy in at the jump, and I would get in when it was hot, and maybe that would encourage me to play this game more. And I just got so fucking mad that I spent full price on this fucking minimal upgrade of a game.
How many times have you put that game in and played it? How many times have you actually sat down to play Splatoon
3? And it launched months ago.
Oh my God, you fool of a man.
It was such a goddamn mistake. It's not bad. It's not a bad game. It's just not literally no better than Splatoon 2 at all. There is nothing worth the money that justifies that kind of an upgrade.
At least Overwatch 2 is free to play. Jesus.
Yeah.
Evan, you gotta don't play this game, avoid this game at all costs.
That's a good question. I played so few games, and I generally liked what I played. Here, how about this? The game you should not play is discussing video games online with anyone. just don't do it. Don't.
So then, are we recording tomorrow or no?
You can listen. Just enjoy what you like. Find what you like, and play that, and don't worry about these larger issues. People should listen to shows like this and shows like Megadad's Checkpoint and other things because they enjoy the people on it, not because they actually want to learn anything or be fed opinions about anything. So it's just take a step back from. Here's the thing: most people who discuss video games online, that's their opinions don't matter, and that includes everyone on this panel.
This is very true.
So like what you want to like, and fuck the haters. I'll just say that.
And also play Moss 2.
Yeah, I would love to hear what Tony's thought is, but he got up to poop again.
Well, here's the thing: is I muted him because he was deep throating his mic. I have no idea how to unmute him.
That's the fucking best thing you've ever said to me.
So we're just gonna end this show while he's.
You can't unmute him. Oh, he's back. Oh fuck!
Bitch.
Now you gotta tell me how to unmute him. You can't click the mute button again.
The mute button is gone. I have like a microphone icon.
Oh, there you go. He's done. He's
I don't
unmuted.
know why you guys are so mean to me.
He's back.
God
I didn't
damn
say
it.
anything.
Do it again. Do it again.
Antonio, tell us your game that you want us to avoid.
Dying Light 2 was not as good as Dying Light 1. I think it came out in like February or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And the combat,
It's like the zombie parachute game.
yeah, yes.
Mhm.
So it's open world, like zombie parkour game, and they're continuing to support it just like they did the first game with like DLC and modes and etc. But it just with the first game was so amazing, and being a zombie game fan in general myself, I didn't have a good time with it. It was a struggle to finish it, and I would say to
Really?
avoid it. So like there have been recent patches, but with everything out so far in the year, it doesn't even excite me to go back with any of the improvements that have been released so far, like graphically. And
Is it a case of it just being like released at the wrong time, or is it actually a bad game?
no, it was released at the perfect time where if you were interested, you would definitely have picked it up for a zombie open world,
A zombie
brawler.
parachute
Yeah,
game.
exactly. So it was
Zombie.
something to try if you were a fan of the genre, but it really fell short. It missed a lot of the spirit of the first game, and it really, as a fan of the first game, did not. I almost felt like it was made by a completely different developer. And I would say Dying Light 2 was one of the biggest disappointments next to Shovel Knight Dig and Overwatch 2.
All right. I think Evan's frozen, which is awesome.
Are you
'cause
frozen?
I
Evan?
don't. His eyeballs are
Oh,
moving.
there he
fuck.
is. He
He's
just
just-
has to
Evan,
move. Holy
you
shit!
you can hold so still, bro. I swear to
His
God,
eyes are
I haven't
moving.
heard.
He hasn't fucking blinked in like 3
I
minutes.
owned a snake that didn't hold that still, bro.
So, so
Jesus.
I have learned this. I didn't think this was a superpower until I got married, but I apparently have the ability to just shut off my body.
Fucking awesome.
There have been times when I will
All
just
three of
be
my
sitting on the
ex-wives have
couch.
done that.
I'll be
Oh
I'll be
shit!
sitting on the couch. I'll be sitting on the couch and it's just like I'll have like a hand up like this. People can see the video. I'll just have a hand up like this, and it'll just stay like that, and it'll just be like. My wife is like, "What's wrong?" It's like, "Oh no, that's just where my body stopped." So apparently
That's
my
kind of
God.
nasty, Evan.
I'm sorry.
I'm not really sure where to go from here.
I think we should wrap it up.
Listen, from your family to our family to yours. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us this year, today. Hopefully, you don't have to go punch your drunk Uncle Ted. And if you do, hopefully you're recovering with an ice pack on your testicles and
Thumb
earbuds
outside.
in.
Thumb outside the fist if you're gonna punch.
Yeah. Thumb
Thumb
out.
outside the
Don't
fist.
put your thumb in the fist when you fist. The,
I also
turkey or
want to
your uncle.
apologize for
Number
deep
one.
throating the mic and for hurting anyone's ears.
Who's picking up Mabel? Who's getting her off
Just leave her
the?
here.
I think here's what we do. We all just like turn the lights off.
Like God invented tarps.
One by one, we just get in the elevator and leave. And
It's like a dine and dash, but she has to land her vomit.
she's just gonna have to wake up tomorrow and feel this shame.
That's what she gets.
I think that's what she gets. Thank you
That's
so
what
much,
she gets.
everyone, for listening
Thank
to
you.
this very special, very special Mega Dad's Live Thanksgiving episode. We hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving. And that's it. We'll see you very soon for an. Oh, for fuck's sake, Antonio. Jesus Christ. We'll see you guys next time for Mega Dad's Live.